Well, there's a new movie called Until Dawn, directed by David F. Sandberg, who I'm a fan of. I like some of his films. And this one sort of feels like a darker Happy Death Day because of the repeat factor. But we're going to review it, so let's go. Until Dawn stars Ella Rubin, Odessa Izion, and is directed by David F. Sandberg.
Every night, something new is trying to kill us. What is that?
What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2025 review, and I was actually looking forward to Until Dawn. It really caught my eye just because of the repeat factor, and they actually make a joke in the movie about the whole, the repeat movies, I guess is what you can call them. Did it start with Groundhog Day? Was there a movie before Groundhog Day that started this repeating the day over, or I guess in this case, the death over? But there have been so many since Groundhog Day, and it is a really fun premise, and it's one that you can play around with. They don't have to all kind of follow the same rules. I tend to enjoy these types of movies. Like, really, that's kind of a whole nother discussion about source movies that had a very gimmicky, unique idea, and then they kind of spawned all these other copycat type movies of even like different genres, this given the repeat factor. But then you had the time travel thing with Back to the Future, and then you had like Totally Killer. So it's like horror is borrowing all these ideas from non-horror properties, and oftentimes it can be really fun. My problem with Happy Death Day was that the kills were just not shown. It's been a while since I watched the first one. I haven't even watched the second one since it first came out. But that was a big complaint about that one. But it did have really good character development. Whereas this is kind of the opposite. You do get the kills and you do get some blood in here. But the character development, yeah, we'll get there. But before we get there, let me give you a quick plot synopsis, okay? And then we'll crack this baby open, all right? And I'll tell you what my mindset was when I watched this movie. Oh, and real quick, I got some big news. I am super excited about this. We officially have the cover for Delilah versus the Ghastly Grimm. It's right here on your screen right now. We are super excited. This is a professional illustration that we commissioned. And yeah, that's going to be the cover of the book. The book is coming out May 27th, okay? Because it's a paperback, Amazon doesn't allow pre-orders, so I'm just going to be promoting this thing for May 27th. That, maybe set an alarm. I don't know what you got to do. Set a reminder. But May 27th, you definitely want to purchase this book if you want a nice discount, okay? Because the discount's only going to last, I think, a week or two, and then it's going to go to full price. So you definitely want to jump on this. Delilah versus the Ghastly Grimm. It's coming. The plot here is that this group of young people, they go to this house that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I guess the main girl from this group, her name is Clover. Her sister went missing. It sort of reminds me of Friday the 13th, the remake, which I just got the Arrow release today. I immediately thought of that aspect of that movie when they introduced it here. She's going looking for her sister. But once they get there, they quickly realize why her sister is gone, because they're in the middle of this game where they are actually being killed over and over and over again. And, this could happen for infinity, right? And can you imagine just how exhausting that would be, having to die over and over and over again? So it is a really interesting angle on an already interesting premise. So let me sigh real quick. Okay, yeah, this movie was kind of frustrating, and it sucks too, because it is one of those movies, as soon as I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely into that. That looks good. I just scared Levi. That looks really, really fun. But also, let me cut this movie a little bit of slack, okay? Because let me give you my mindset when I sat down to watch this. Super happy, going to the movies, sitting down, I look at my phone, and I find out that Lar Park Lincoln just died. That's exactly what happened. And us horror fans, we took that pretty hard. I took it so hard I couldn't even record the review when I got home. I had to record just something nice. I wanted to record something nice for Lar because it hit me. And if you want to watch my whole backstory on why I was upset by that, definitely watch that video that I put out a couple of days ago. But yeah, it really set my mood for watching this movie. You know, I learned this literally right before the movie started, and I was like, God, what a bummer. You know, I still had an open mind. I still could be highly entertained. Anything's possible, right? So I figured I'd just try to enjoy the movie. And quickly I realized, some warts, some problems in this movie. I do think it has a weak script, and I do think the character development in this movie is pretty subpar. But let me start you off with a few things that I actually did like about the movie, okay? In terms of like blood and kills, I think it did deliver. So if you're going to a movie, just, I don't need anything else, okay? I'm just in the mood to just have kills, all right? I just want to have some nice kills, maybe in the background. Like if you were to rent this movie when it comes out, and you're freaking doing laundry or doing your dishes around the house or something like that, and you don't mind hearing some kills or seeing some kills in the background, throw it on. It's perfect for that. And I do think there is one section of the movie, because you're going to go through different kills over and over and over again. And I think there is one section that is really, really fun, involving explosion deaths, I guess we'll call it that. Those are always fun. We see them from time to time in horror. There was one in Ready or Not at the end of that movie where people were just constantly exploding. So you get a segment like that in this movie, and it is fun. And it happens kind of in the middle of the movie, which was, I think, perfect placement, because it does start to feel a little bit repetitive, I guess. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. Even if the plot is about repetitiveness, you still can't bore me, okay? You still got to keep me interested. And they do try to do that, okay? They do try to keep you interested in terms of variety in the deaths, although I don't think there were any kills in this movie that people are going to be talking about like it was totally groundbreaking. I don't think that's going to happen. But there's plenty of blood on the walls, okay? I'll give it that. That's about the only good I can give the movie, but I can segue into potential. I can see how they could have actually fixed this movie, because there's a certain aspect, the sister that is missing. I think they could have actually made this more interesting if they would have ratcheted up the mystery aspect of this movie with the sister missing, and then her sister Clover coming, after her, and maybe she starts to put some pieces together along the way in the movie. And there's like maybe this big revelation of, how it happened to her sister. But to me, this movie, it really just goes through the motions. And I think they kind of leave that stuff by the wayside. And this is based on the popular video game. And I haven't played the game, but I do hear that this movie doesn't really follow the plot of the game. By the way, guys, I don't mind that. Like, I'm not a gamer, but like, let's say if it's like a remake of something, I don't need it to follow the remake. Just give me a good movie. At the end of the day, that's all I want. I just want a good movie. If you're going to be a remake of something, yeah, you definitely want to do some sort of callbacks. And I do think you need to kind of follow the same plot structure, because there have been remakes that are really not remakes, like the Silent Night, Deadly Night remakes, which is called Silent Night. That is a completely different movie. They just have Christmas and Santa Claus in common. But if you're going to go that way, then you might as well call Christmas Bloody Christmas a Silent Night, Deadly Night remake, right? Because it's not. Same thing with Prom Night. The Prom Night remake is a completely different movie than the original Prom Night. And that sort of pissed me off. And it pissed me off even more because it's one of my least favorite remakes ever made. But do you notice the one thing I really haven't talked about too much in this movie? The characters. The characters are just very one note, blank slate, nothing really to write home about. Yes, the acting is fine for these types of movies, but there's just no charm to them whatsoever. I don't care about what happens to them. Yeah, they die over and over and over again, but wouldn't it be nice if you really got behind a character and then having to watch them die? And this is where I kind of channel back to Jessica Roth and Happy Death Day. As many problems as I had with Happy Death Day, I gotta admit, Jessica Roth is super charming. And you are completely behind her in this movie. And she does have even some like great emotional moments. But I think maybe it's because they have, 5 or 6 characters in this movie. And it's not a situation where they're getting picked off one by one. And so as they're getting picked off, you're getting to know the lesser characters that are still alive more and more. No, they keep coming back. and they're just as uninteresting as they were in The Last Death. And they kind of cancel each other out because even the main character of the movie, Clover, she doesn't really stand out too much, which is a shame. Plus, I think the tone of this movie is horrible because this is a situation which would be terrifying. Like, you would be shitting bricks if you were in this situation. And all these characters, they sort of seem like they're just kind of waiting in line at the DMV, right? It's that level of terror. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, my life is at risk literally over and over again. And, there are these killers that are coming around who look terrifying. And the reaction of the characters, it's just not there. And I don't even know if I can blame the actors as much as I think just the way the scenes are played out, and I don't feel like there's any kind of building of tension like there should be. And, we horror fans, of course, we don't get scared by movies, but we know what scary movies are. And to me, this movie is not scary in the slightest. And that's just because feels like there's no tension. There's zero tension. It's just rinse and repeat. This is rinse and repeat the movie. That's what it is. So yeah, guys, totally forgettable. Giving this movie a 2 hours loss. I will never, ever watch this again. And it's a shame because I had high hopes for it. And David Sandberg is a really competent director. I expected just with him behind the camera that at least there would be some great tension. But no, it's just not that at all. And there's some beautiful shots in this movie, but yeah, it's all for naught. So yeah, that's my review for Until Dawn. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you want to see a better movie with the title Dawn, definitely check out Just Before Dawn from 1981. That'll cleanse your palate after you watch this one because that's a phenomenal film. So thank you, Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards, for recommending that one to me years ago. He even sent me the Blu-ray, I think. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day on Fridays. We do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on my socials. Support me on Patreon. Become a channel member. Buy me a coffee. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. And Drumdum out.